Okay, it is 10:50, and we're about to go into our pain practice. So the things that we might use to help someone address pain. And pain's an interesting one because everyone has something, and something that might soothe one person in their physical pain might be detrimental to somebody else. So in working with pain, we really would want it to be a little more individualized. But the practice that I'm going to teach today is thought to be sort of a generalized practice to address body pain. It's called the Joint Freeing Series, and I will put that in here, Joint Freeing Series. And I learned this from Mukunda Stiles. And you can just Google that, and a PDF will come up online, and it's right there, all the movements. I'm going to modify it, just using the movements in a different sequence. And I suggest that you take a look at that and kind of think about it. And I think that the basics of a practice, I teach a yoga therapy. It's called that, yoga therapy or gentle class at Soul of Yoga, which has been suspended during this time when we can't be in the studio. But it very much is based on this idea that the Joint Freeing Series moves all of the joints in the body. And pain is often considered a blockage of prana in the body. If we have pain, it's because the prana is being blocked. And the joints, the movement, the places of movement in the body are associated with vata, and movement of those joints, movement of the prana is associated with supporting that, of helping people to alleviate some of the pain. So if you do have anything going on in your body right now, any places of pain, you can put that into the chat box. You can chat it to everyone or just to me if that feels better to you. And I'm going to try to address all of the areas in the body. We are going to start foot, low back, side joint, hips, knees, neck and shoulder, mid, low back, hips, low back. We all have got something going on, don't we? Neck, shoulders, right side of the back rib cage, neck contracted, naked. Okay, I'm going to try and address all of those things with one practice, hands and wrist. No pain today, bursitis, misalignment, knees. Okay. You'll see a little bit for everything in this sequence. The one thing that I would say that you might not see in a joint freeing series that I have added is a moving lunge. We've been doing it in almost every class. For those of you who do have some knee pain or some SI joint dysfunction, I would suggest that moving lunge might not be the best thing for you, and then just put something else in there that does feel supportive, even if it's just a constructive rest, just being or sitting and just welcoming what is and breathing with it. Sometimes that moving lunge, and I'll be more specific, it's this one, can be destabling for the SI joint. And if that's the case for you, just go ahead and skip that. All right. We are going to start out lying down, and I'm just going to talk us through a little bit of the eye rest portion of considering the opposites of sensation, pain or discomfort, and comfort, back and forth. There have been studies that show that the resistance of pain, that people have pain and then they resist it, the Buddhists might call that the second arrow. You have the pain and then you dump resistance on top of it and it creates more pain. So the eye rest or the mindfulness, the MBSR, attention to pain is to meet it and greet it. Hello, my pain. I will take good care of you, rather than resisting it. Just to to soften into it, to let it take up as much space as it wants without shooting that second arrow of resistance at it. So that's how we're going to start. So go ahead and lie down and do make yourself comfortable. Really find your way into comfort on your back. That might mean putting something under your head or under your knees. If lying on your side is more comfortable or on your belly, do that as well. And you'll just turn over onto your back when we start our movement practice. But take a breath or two, some moments to, if you could, make yourself 5 to 10% more comfortable. Really settle in. And start out by, especially since we're going to look at pain today, which is obviously a very difficult thing in many people's lives. It's the root of a lot of the starts of addiction problems is the pain, right? We just want to stop it, and it's totally understandable. Who wouldn't want to stop their pain? So before we do that, if you would, can you go back and find your inner resource? That inner sanctuary where you feel totally at ease and secure. Maybe it's a special place in nature. Maybe it's the memory, the thought of a two-legged beloved or a four-legged beloved. Maybe it's the image or the thought of your Ishta Devata, your individual connection with something bigger than you. Or simply the lullaby of your own breath. Allow all your senses to come to play here. Sounds that are soothing and relaxing. Perceiving objects that evoke feelings of comfort and ease. Allow this inner refuge of comfort to bloom, to blossom completely into your awareness. And know that you can return at any time to your inner sanctuary of inner resource, any time that you need to during practice or at any point during your day. Welcome now. Spontaneous feelings that are present, sensations, perhaps warmth or heaviness. Coolness or lightness. Floor beneath you, the touch of air on your skin. Anything that is most calling your attention at the moment without changing what you perceive. Simply welcoming the spontaneous feelings that are present for you now. If helpful, locate the opposite of the feeling that's present. If you're sensing warmth, can you also find a place of coolness? If you're sensing heaviness, can you also find lightness? If there is discomfort, can you also find places of comfort? If there is pain, perhaps seeking out a place where there is also no pain. Maybe it's just the tip of your pinky finger. And then move back and forth between the sensations at your own rhythm, between the opposites of sensation at your own rhythm, from warmth to coolness or comfort to discomfort, just a few breaths in each place. And then perceive the sensations simultaneously. Hold both. If helpful, you can always interweave your inner resource of being and well-being throughout your body. Noticing how everything is just really a movement within awareness. The changing sensations pointing out the unchangingness of awareness. And if you would, please bring your attention to your feet. On your next inhale, point through your toes. And as you exhale, flex at the ankle, maybe spread the toes. Inhale, point through the feet. Exhale, flex through the ankles, maybe spread the toes, and just do that a few more times, this little movement with the breath. Ankles and toes. And then let the feet be still and just notice any remnants of sensation that exist from the movement now in the stillness. Bring your knees into your chest. Hold on to your kneecaps gently with your hands. And as you inhale, don't let go of the knees, but push the thighs forward. And as you exhale, bring the thighs back in towards your chest. Inhale, the knees move away from the body. Thighs away from the body. Exhale, thighs in towards your belly. And we're just going to do this a few times, this movement of Apanasana. And one of the things that I want to point to in the practice is we're going to kind of question our patterns of movement and breath, because sometimes pain is a result of dysfunctional patterning. So notice how you're doing this. Do you tend to do it with your arms? Are your arms the creator of movement? Is it your thighs that are the creator of the movement and the arms are just going along for the ride? Maybe you're using both simultaneously. Can you switch it up so that if your arms are the motor of the movement, let your arms go along for the ride and let your legs move and vice versa. And then maybe play with both the arms and the legs, creating the motion together symbiotically. And just notice what it's like to change a pattern of movement. On your next inhale, straighten your legs so the knee joints move, legs go straight up, maybe the toes pull back towards your face. And then exhale, relax the ankles, bend the knees, thighs back to the belly. Inhale, the legs go up, the knees straighten, the ankles maybe move into flexion. Exhale, ankles soften, knees into flexion, hips into flexion into the body. And do that a few times. Notice if there's patterning to your movement. Are your shoulders tense? Is your jaw tense? Just take some time to maybe change the movement a little bit. Maybe slow it down or speed it up and see. Do the hips and the knees move at the same time? What happens if the hips and the knees move at different orientations in the breath? And then the next time you have the legs either straight or bent, it's up to you, whatever feels better. Take the knees slightly apart and rotate at the ankles now. Rotate around, and maybe they'll rotate both in the same direction together, right? They're both going in clockwise direction or both going in counterclockwise direction, or they're moving in opposite directions. And whatever was your natural form of rotating, do the opposite. And make sure you explore all directions of movement, and maybe even not aligned, so the feet can move not in rhythm with each other, and see how that feels. And then let the feet be still wherever they are. Lift it, actually let the knees bend and let the feet kind of hang there at the end of the calves, and notice any energy, any prana flowing. Maybe it's a sense of greater warmth or coolness or ginger ale, bubbly feeling. Place your hands on your kneecaps again. And as you inhale, push the knees forward, but then take them wide apart from each other. Exhale, bring them in towards your armpits, and exhale and bring them together. So sorry, there's two parts to each breath. Inhale, the knees go up forward and apart. Exhale, the knees come in towards the armpits and squeeze together. Inhale, away and apart. Exhale, in and together. And again, is it your arms doing the motion? Is it the hip joints doing the motion? Can you play around with that? And maybe even smooth out the motion. So instead of it being boxy, it becomes circular and smooth. And then you can reverse the direction and just see. Just be aware of the different sensations of movement at the hip joints. And the next time knees come together, place your feet on the floor, arms at your sides. Feet now about hip width apart. Lengthen the back of your neck, bring your shoulder blades down your back. So it's not about the shoulders, they're better rest. And when you inhale now, just pelvic tilt. Press the lower back into the floor. Pubic bone rolls towards the belly button. Exhale, relax that pelvic tilt. Inhale, pelvic tilt, belly draws in, lower back presses into the floor, pubic bone curls up. Exhale, relax that. You might also switch the breathing pattern on that, just to do something different. So maybe you're exhaling and tilting the pubic bone up, and you're inhaling and releasing. And then you could stay with the pelvic tilt inquiry, or maybe The inhale lifts you to bridge posture, as high up as feels okay, and exhale and down. So we're all going to find different places to be in there. If your lower back's bugging you today, maybe you don't come up very high. Maybe it feels good to come up high. And generally we do this in general with an inhale to come up to bridge and an exhale to lower down from bridge. But how about inquiring into that? That can show up some dysfunctional patterns in your movement and breathing. So maybe exhale to lift and inhale to lower. And we'll just do it a couple more times. And then you decide where you want to stay. Do you want to stay in a pelvic tilt? Do you want to stay in a bridge? Do you just want to rest your hips on the floor? Maybe it's a half bridge. Just take a few breaths. Noticing any unnecessary tension that has crept in. Shoulders, jaw, brow, tongue. And then as you exhale, come on down. Bring your knees back to your chest. Make some circles on your back now. See what it feels like to go in the other direction. And then stop in the center, right there in the center. Bring your arms out to a T position. Thighs stay in towards your belly. So you may notice that we are moving up the body. We did ankles, knees, hips. Now we've done the lower back, and we're going to move into a rotational ability here in the back and the spine. And we're going to continue to go to one direction. Switching sides, alternating sides is a little more stimulating for the nervous system. In the pain practice, we're going to try to balance out the nervous system. So we're going to go to one direction and repeat it, and then repeat the other direction. So inhale in the center, and as you exhale, drop both knees to the right, turn your head to the left. Inhale back to center. Exhale, both knees, same side, head turns away from the knees. And repeat. Out of the twist on the inhale, and exhale, go into the twist. And the next time you find yourself in the twist, stay, adjust as you need to, try and relax there. And just make some breath inquiry here. You can even make some movements with your left arm. Maybe if you bring it down below shoulder level, what does that do to the pose and the sensation? It can be shoulder level. It can even be above shoulder level. So try out a few different places and see what that does to the feeling in your body and the breath in your body. And then let that go softly. Come back to center. Give the knees a hug as you settle in right to the center line. Let's bring the arms out to a T again. And this time we're going to take the knees to the left. So exhale, knees to left, head to right. Inhale to center. Exhale, knees to the left, head to the right. And continue that. So the inhale brings you out of the twist, and the exhale takes you into it at your own breathing rhythm. maybe even questioning your breathing rhythm. Slow it down, speed it up. Don't just move in pattern. A friend of mine who's a really, really talented body worker says that all injury, or rather all disease, some injury is an accident, but all disease is pattern. Even in your twist, can you notice a pattern of tension? Can you move your arm maybe below your shoulder, at shoulder height, above your shoulder, to see different places that you might not normally notice in this posture? Different placements of your breath. This time on your exhale, when you're ready, pick up your right hand, bring it over to your left, come into a fetal position on your left side. And take all the time you need to bring yourself up. Let's come to fours now. Come to fours. For people that can't be on fours because of pain in the knees, you could do this seated in Sukhasana or on a chair. Let's start with hands wider than shoulders, knees touching, thighs together, tops of the feet flat to the floor, spine neither arched nor rounded. It's a tabletop. And on your next exhale, drop your hips to the right as you gently press through your left knee. Inhale, come to the center line again. And exhale, let's go to the right again. Inhale to center. Exhale, hip drops to the right. Inhale to center. And let's go to the left. Exhale, let the hips drop to the left as you press through your right knee to the floor. Don't let it lift. Inhale, center. And 2 more times to the left with a hip drop. For those that have some SI joint issues here, one side may likely feel better than the other. Just notice that. That will show you a pattern, perhaps of posture or carrying, maybe mommy hip. And then let that be a little more free flow. So circle the hips. Let other parts of the body become involved in this, perhaps the pelvis, the shoulders, the ribs. As you let your body circle from the hips around in this movement. And if at some point it feels good to reverse the direction, reverse the direction. If you notice a place of a messenger, as Richard Miller might say, as the IRS might say, calling your attention, give it some attention. Maybe you just want to stay still for a few breaths. If you need more time there, just feel free to stay. Otherwise, we're going to come to a traditional tabletop with hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale, sway your spine, right? Our traditional cow movement. Exhale, round your spine, a traditional cat movement. Few rounds like that. Inhale, sway. Exhale, round. And then perhaps inquire into the breathing pattern that we're so comfortable with. So some of you will recognize this from Leslie Kaminoff's teaching. What would happen if you exhaled to sway your spine and inhaled to round your spine? And even if it's uncomfortable, can you just inquire into that pattern for a few rounds? Because the inhale into the rounded motion can help you access the breathing space at the back body, which is sort of interesting. And if you'd like to add to it a child's pose, when you round your spine, you could add the child's pose going back, and then you come out of the child's pose to the swayed spine. But play around with the breathing patterns in that few rounds. And then also, if you'd like to add downward dog here, in and out of your pattern, we've done a few patterns with the downward dog, and maybe you're changing the breathing pattern. So we were exhaling to downward dog. What happens if you inhale to the downward dog? And play around there, a few rounds. Play with your patterns and your breathing. Play with your samskaras, as they say, right? We want to get out of those. They are our real escape route. We think that they're our escape route, but they are really prisons that we only believe are sanctuaries. And then if you want to find a place to be still for a few breaths. Maybe it's dog, child's, fours, maybe there's some other movement that you would like to take. And then wherever you are, can you find your way into a standing forward fold, an Uttanasana? Release any unnecessary tension there from shoulders, from neck, jaw, brow. Play with your standing balance pattern. Do you tend to be in your toes, your heels, your inner or outer feet? And can you find a balance pattern of being balanced over your big toe ball joint, your little toe ball joint, and the center of the heel, all having the same amount of weight and energy? And even as you put more energy into the feet, can you soften the head more, the shoulders more, the hands more? Can you feel both things at the same time? The sense of sthira, steadiness, strength in the feet, and sukha in the arms and the head and the hands. On your next inhale, come up to your fingertips. They can be on blocks, the floor, your shins. Take a nice long spine. Exhale and fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And this time, as you lengthen, sweep your arms out, bring them overhead, root down as you lift up. Lift through your ribs, not just your shoulders. And exhale and let your arms come down to your sides. Tadasana. And just stand for a moment. Just stand with a sense of being right here. Sense of your own body breathing. We're going to do some movements with our hands, and then we're going to add in movements with the mouth and the eyes. So it's like this. I'm going to talk you through it, and then we'll do it a few times. All right, just checking the chat. The first movement is hands like this. So I'm going to call this awe, A-W-E, awe. And then we do claw, right? Then paw, wrapping around, drawing the palms down like paws, and then draw. And we draw a circle around with the wrist 2 times in one direction and 2 times in the other direction. Right? So let's do it again. Aw, claw, paw, tuck under, and draw a circle twice in one direction and twice in the other direction. One more time, just the hands. Aw, claw, paw, pulling the knuckles down towards the floor, draw a circle in one direction, draw a circle in the other direction. That's challenging for me. Good. Let's add the face, the tongue, the eyes. So in awe, we're going to go aw, and then claw, we're going to go lion. In paw, look down as your knuckles point down, just with your eyes, not with your nose. And then draw a circle twice to one direction with your hands, but also your eyes. And then in the other direction, rotate your eyes and your hands in the other direction. Let's do it again. Aw, open your mouth. Claw, lion. Paw, just look down your nose. Don't move your nose, just look down, and then draw a circle twice with your eyes and your hands, and twice to the other side with your eyes and your hands. And one more time. Aw, claw, paw, looking down, knuckles down, and draw circles. Eyes and hands circle. Close your eyes, release your hands, standing back to Tadasana. And just notice the prana around your mouth, your eyes, and your hands. Remember, the prana flow, when it gets stuck, is what creates problems. But the movement of the prana is what heals. That pranamaya kosha is our healing body. When you're ready, bring your hands out again. Arms out to shoulder height. We're going to turn the palms up for this next one. This is going to be the elbows and the shoulders. Let's inhale, arms extend out. As you exhale, bend at the elbows, hands to shoulders. Inhale, open the elbows out wide, shoulder blades towards each other. And exhale, reach out and down, circling the shoulders. Do it again. Inhale, palms face up. Exhale, fingertips to shoulders, like you're holding weights in your hands. Inhale, open wide across the chest. And exhale, reach wide and back down. Inhale, palms skyward. Exhale, palms to shoulders. Inhale, open across the chest. And exhale, reach wide, circle the arms down. One more time. Fingers to shoulders. Opening wide on the inhale. And exhale, open and down. Bring your hands to your heart. Just notice your shoulders. Do a little more shoulder work. We're going to add the toes just to have that sensation of two things happening at the same time. As you inhale, big circle with the arms over the head. Come up onto your tiptoes. Touch your fingertips over your head. Exhale, keep the fingertips touching as you bring your hands down into our Dove Mudra and our heels to the floor. Continue that a few times. So inhale up to the tiptoes, touch your fingertips above your head if that works for you. And exhale softly, heels down, hands stay in Dove Mudra as they come to your heart. And play with that a little. Maybe see what it's like to go up on your exhale. It might give you a little more stability. And come down on your inhale. And play with your patterns. Next time you are up on your heels, unless that hurts your feet, stay there. If it hurts your feet, bring your heels to the floor. Touch your fingertips together and see if you can keep your mind in your toe tips and your fingertips at the same moment. Exhale, release both hands and heels. Close your eyes, see what you notice. Where was prana perhaps blocked in that movement? Maybe the shoulders, maybe the toes, and now can it move freely that you've come out of the pose? So now we've done feet, knees, hips, the spine in laterals and the shoulders around, and we're going to move the upper ribs in a lateral bend. So we're going to inhale. We've done this before. We're going to bring the right arm up and exhale over to the left. Stay there. Inhale into those right ribs and exhale, switch sides. Lateral bend for the upper ribs. Inhale, or the mid ribs, I should say. Exhale, switch sides. And continue that. You might change up your breathing pattern, see what happens. You might change up your movement. Maybe there's a little more roll in or a little more roll out. Play around with it. Perhaps stay to one side for a few breaths, inquiring into the feeling in the feet, the fingers, where your breath can move around, what position you might want to try out. Rolling in, rolling out, maybe making a little paw or a claw or an aw, and see how the position of the hand and wrist affects the feeling in the shoulder. It's all one fascial sleeve, so play with that on one side. And then go ahead and do the other side. And play around with the position, the breath, maybe the hand, aw, claw, paw, even draw, and see how does the position of the hand and the wrist, the grasping of the hand and the wrist, how does it affect the shoulder, the hip, the foot, the breath? And on your next exhale, come on out, stand. Breathe in maybe a new way, a different way that you're not used to breathing. And now we're going to take the hands and we're going to place them at the lower back. We did this one other time before. We'll do it a little differently. So they just rest on the lower back, and I like to use this, as I said before, to remind me not to stand with my butt sticking out, but rather to lengthen my lower back, to open the front of my chest so that this whole area gets a little more spacious in here than it usually is. Drawing in. You might want blocks here. I don't have my blocks. Someone grab my blocks. But if you do have blocks, you can put them in front of your feet. We are going to inhale, and I'm going to mirror you here. Inhale, right arm comes up, straight up overhead. As you exhale, it's like a half sun breath with that right arm. It sweeps down. Left arm stays where it is. Bring your hand down to the floor or the blocks. Inhale, half lift to your right fingers. Maybe a block or your shins. Exhale and fold. Left arm still remains where it is. As you inhale, that half sun breath up, right arm sweeps up and overhead. And as you exhale, reach with the right hand to the right wall head to the left. Hold the right wrist with your left hand and take a breath in to your right neck here. Exhale, come back to center, starting position, both hands at your lower back. We're going to alternate sides on this one. Inhale, the left arm comes straight up. Exhale, like a one-arm sun breath, come down, right hand to the floor blocks, bow. Inhale, half lift to fingertips, flat spine. Exhale, fold that right arm's just staying where it was. Inhale, left arm sweeps out, comes all the way up overhead. And then as you exhale, reach with the left hand to the left wall, head to the right, hold on to the left wrist with the right hand and breathe into your left neck. Exhale slowly back to center. We're going to do that a couple more times. Inhale, right arm sweeps up. Exhale, it sweeps out to the side and down. Forward fold. Drop your head. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, full fold, although the left arm stays where it is. Inhale, sweep the right arm out and up. Exhale, right arm to the right, head, torso to the left. Hold that right wrist and inhale to the right neck. Exhale, back to center. Inhale, left arm. Exhale, come down. Inhale, half lift. Right arm stays where it is. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left arm comes up, straight up. And then exhale, left arm to the left, torso and head to the right. Grab that wrist and inhale into the left neck. Exhale to center. Head right to center. Hands at your lower back. We're going to hold now, but we're going to go through the sequence to hold. Inhale, right arm. Exhale, sweep the right hand down, bow forward. Drop your head. Inhale, lengthen through the back of your neck as you take a half lift. Exhale, drop the head as you fold. Inhale, right arm sweeps to bring you up. Exhale, right hand reaches to the right, head and torso to the left. Go ahead, hold on to your right wrist with your left hand. We're going to stay here. So drawing your arm long, your right arm long with your left wrist. So the shoulder blade sits low. Start to take some deep breaths into that upper breathing space right up by the collarbone here. Relax your inner ear, corner of your jaw, your tongue in your mouth. Maybe even experiment with your patterns of holding in your neck, your belly. Notice the pattern tensions that creep back in. For me, that is my jaw. Always wants it to be about it. On your next exhale, release the arms first. Let the head stay where it is. As you inhale, press into both feet. Let the torso come up. The head comes up slowly and last. And we're just going to wait. Stand here and wait. Notice how your own prana mindfully adjust your neck. So at first it might have felt really kind of weird and out of balance. And then it starts to feel more and more normal. The body finding its own homeostasis. An incredibly balancing, healing force of your own prana. When that feels normal, bring your hands back behind your back. Might feel uneven though. Inhale, left arm comes up. Exhale, come down, dropping your head completely. Inhale, half lift, lengthen from the back of your neck. Exhale, fold again, really drop the head. Inhale, come up, sweeping the left arm to the left, then over your head, root through the left foot. Exhale, reach for the left with the hand, to the right with the torso and the head. Let your right hand hold your left wrist and draw it down, inhaling into the upper breathing space here by the left neck. Perhaps playing around with the position of the breath, the position of the chin, the inner ear, hinges of the jaw. What happens if you lose connection of the left foot to the earth and then you regain it? Does that change anything? When you're ready to come out on the exhale, let your arms go first. And then slowly bring your torso up. The head's going to find its way up to center, finds its own way, last and slowly. Notice the prana in the neck, the small internal adjustments, that sense of interoception. You feel what's happening in your body. Subtle healing that's happening. And the head still may feel a little funny. The neck may feel a little funny. We're going to counterpose it now. So bringing the right foot into forward position and the left foot into back position into a warrior one. And you can do this, if you like the big wide warrior one, you can. If you have some SI joint stuff going on, be a little shorter in your posture so that your SI joint stays pretty balanced here. As you inhale, bend your elbows, bend your knees. So we are opening the front of the body. And then as you exhale, straighten the leg, bring your forearms together and your chin to your chest. So you're rounding out the upper spine. Inhale, bend the knee, open the arms, cactus arms. Exhale, straighten the leg, press through the foot, press the forearms together, chin to chest, round, shoulder blades apart. And continue that. So it's just a two-part movement this time, from cactus arms open and then cactus arms rounded. And you could even play with that breathing pattern. Maybe this is your exhale and the rounded is your inhale, which can be interesting because it invites you to breathe into your back body. And if you never do that, it can feel like a nice release, a breaking of an old pattern. Next time you come in, whatever breath that is that you're using, let's come in and take the left arm underneath the right. You could just do hug asana here. You could wrap around into eagle arms. You could have front legs straight or bent. We're just going to gently lift the elbows higher and bring the shoulder blades down and apart. Just breathing here to the space between the shoulder blades. Release the arms, roll your shoulders a couple times, and step your feet together. Let's do the other side. So now it will be the left foot that's in the forward position and the right foot's back. Again, find your right leg position for you. If you have SI joint stuff going on, you're definitely choosing a shorter leg position. Inhale, bend the knee, bend the elbows, cactus arms. Exhale, forearms together, straighten the legs, round the spine. Inhale, cactus, bend the knee. Exhale, straight leg, forearms together, round the spine, shoulder blades apart, belly in, tailbone tuck. And continue on your own and feel free to play with the breathing pattern. So maybe this is your inhale. You're rounding on your inhale, opening up the back body for breath, and you're exhaling to cactus, which can give you a nice sense of really being in your feet. But you play. You play. You inquire into the laboratory of your own body, your own patterning. your own sense of comfort and discomfort, effort and surrender. The next time that you exhale, bring your right arm under your left. Maybe bend the knee, maybe straighten it. Slightly lift the elbows and then pull the shoulder blades down and apart. Eagle arms, warrior one. Breathing here, wherever your breathing experience is. As you exhale, release the arms, straighten the leg, and turn to a wide-legged forward fold. Wide-legged pose. So you're just going to turn the toes out, maybe heel toe them out more if you like. Inhale, bring both arms up. Exhale, bring the hands behind your back this time. Interlace, draw the knuckles down, chin to chest, stretching the back of the neck. You might just stay here. You might come into that full fold here in the shoulders, or release the arms to the floor. You see for you. I have a lot of flexibility in my shoulders, so this always feels good unless someone forces my arms down, which doesn't feel good at all. And then eventually maybe bring your hands to the floor when you're done, whenever that is. You take your time. On your next inhale, come up to your hands or your blocks so that you're flattening the spine. And as you exhale, walk your hands towards your right foot, bend your right knee so you get a little stretch in your inner left leg. Stay there and breathe in. Use the exhale to transfer to the other side. Stay there and breathe in. Use the exhale to switch sides. So we're just working a little stretch to the inner thighs. Some of us need to bring our booties down pretty far to feel this. Some it's right there for the taking as soon as you move to one side. Play around with it, your breathing pattern, your timing, if you want to stay and be for a little while. Again, for SI joint issues, probably less movement is better than more movement in this pose. Come back to the center. And turn towards the front of your mat. Whichever foot is in front is fine, doesn't matter. Drop onto your back knee. So this is the moving lunge. This is up to you. Back knee can be up or down. If this is not right for your body today, please, maybe a cat-cow, whatever it is that feels good to you, a downward dog. We're going to inhale with the knee bent and exhale with the legs straight. Inhale to bend the knee. Exhale to straighten. And a few times on your own. And maybe switch up the breathing pattern. Maybe you're only moving on the exhales, or you're exhaling as you bend your knee and straighten the leg, or maybe not even paying attention to the breathing pattern. Just play around with it. Get out of your patterning. If you'd rather be still somewhere, be still. Bend your knee. If it's not already, go to fours and switch sides. And let's just go back and forth a few times. Maybe start with whatever your traditional breathing pattern is, the one that you usually do. For me, it's an exhale to straighten and an inhale to bend, as you may have noticed doing this practice with me almost every day. And then maybe inquire into a different breathing pattern. It may surprise you. Can highlight different areas that you didn't know were tense. Perhaps there's a stay, a stillness in there. Perhaps it's continued movement you see. And then you decide for you when that is complete. Perhaps going back to a child's pose for a few breaths. And then make your way onto your back. Bring your knees into your chest again. Let your shoulders settle heavy to the mat, back of the neck long. Place your feet on the floor. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Maybe you're staying here for a little sensation in the right hip. Maybe you're holding your left thigh. Maybe you're even leaning to the left or making some gentle circles. Play around. Can you have your right ankle active and your left ankle soft? Both things at the same time. Keep noticing. Where does your breath naturally go? Where does it naturally avoid? Can you switch that up? When you are ready, release and switch sides. Maybe you're staying with the right foot on the floor. It's enough sensation. You're just going to stay there. Or you can bring your right thigh into your hands. Keeping a flex in the left foot, can you also soften the right? So the left ankle is active and the right ankle is soft. Both things at the same time. Both the hip and the jaw soft, receptive. Receptive to the breath. Maybe you want to lean to one side or make little tiny circles. You see. I think this is one of the most important postures to place in any pain sequence that involves back pain. Definitely for sciatic pain. When you're ready, release that. Place both feet on the floor for a moment, just notice. Bring both knees into your chest. One more thing we're going to do together. As you inhale, bring both legs straight up to the ceiling. We did this in the beginning. And as you exhale, take both legs into a straddle. So you don't have to go that far, just whatever's comfortable for you. Inhale, bring the legs back up to the top, and then exhale into a happy baby. So this is a 4-part rhythm. All the inhales go to legs straight up in the air. The exhales will alternate between the wide leg straddle and the happy baby. All inhales, legs go straight up in the air, and the exhales alternate. You even could inquire into that breathing pattern if that serves you, just to see. And then if there's one place you want to stay for a few breaths, a stillness. I love the saying, don't just do something, sit there. I have to remind myself about that all the time. When that is complete for you, perhaps stretching out into a moment of corpse pose of Shavasana and do a little prana body scan of your own body. See if there are still places that need to express, to move, to stretch. Take time to take care of those places to get 5 to 10% more comfortable as we move into our Shavasana. Nice long Shavasana. Bring your attention back to your breath. Noticing how still your breath has become. How still your body has become. And without making too much of a ripple in that stillness, if you would just tune your ears to the sound of my voice and this wisdom from poet Mark Nepo. This poem is called Even in the Dark. To be broken is no reason to see all things as broken. Seldom seen, growing along the ocean floor, the white-plumed anemone is a watery blossom. It is white lace opening under tons of black, opening as if bathed in the sun while so far from the sun. This is the trick to staying well, isn't it? To feel the sun even in the dark, to not lose the truth of things when they go out of view, to grow just the same. To know there is still water even when we are thirsty, to know there is still love even when we are lonely, to know there is still peace even when we are suffering. None of this invalidates our pain, but only strengthens our way back to the light. Feel free to remain lying down for another minute or so. If you're really tired, please honor that with time and space and just continuing to be reclined. If you feel ready to move, make your way to fetal position. And eventually from fetal position to seated position. And whether you've decided to stay reclined or you've decided to sit up, bring your attention to your own heart. If it's comfortable from where you are, place one hand over the other over your heart. The inner teacher of the heart. The true source of our love, the true source of our peace. Even when we are lonely, even when we are suffering. And none of this invalidates our pain, but it is our guide, our way back into the light. Namaste. Thank you.